Hi, Tammy. Hope you're well.
Hi, Sid. I am great, thanks. I hope you're doing good as well. I'm in the beautiful country of Azerbaijan in the
Wow.
city called Baku. So, stunning weather, beautiful architecture, loving it, loving it. Yeah, it's always nice to visit a new place.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's your first time there.
Yes, it's my first time here. It's been quite interesting. I've been enjoying walking on the streets and venturing around. It's been really, really good.
Yeah, it's strange. It's sunny, but feeling feeling cold.
Oh, okay. I
Hmm.
heard Durban's got some really offbeat weather, I should say.
Yeah, that's South Africa for you. It has its highs and it has its lows.
Yeah.
Yeah, as usual, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and especially it's a nice continuation of last week's chat. I mean, so to get the ball rolling with you, Tammy, is last time we spoke about the difference between love, attachment, and chemistry. Once someone understands those differences, what's the next step toward building a healthy, lasting relationship?
I would say with those three fundamental foundation points, we can build trust, we can communicate well, and more importantly, we can grow together. A healthy, lasting relationship isn't sustained by feelings alone. You know that warm, fuzzy feeling.
Mm,
Also, look for trust is one huge thing. That's like top of my agenda. Trust where you feel safe, you feel honest to share your feelings, and you're not a different person at home, you're not a different person when you're with that person. You need to be comfortable, and that is built on trust. The next I would say is compatibility, where your values and your goals align, where you're not going to get a partner who's going to say, if you are very sporty, if you're very athletic, and you got a partner who's a couch potato, and you guys just don't gel together.
mm,
I know I'm counseling a couple where very similar beliefs or very similar interests, where the guy is he's done the comrades, and he's very sporty, very athletic. And the wife, on the other hand, has, I think she's watched just about every series that you can think of on Netflix, and she's got every I don't even know what you call them, like programs, like your Netflix and your IPTV and you name it. If you She's like the information hub of movies
television.
and everything. And even you, even though you get a couple like that, or you get a relationship like that, meet the person halfway. If you Yes, after your husband or your partner's workout, sitting together and watching something, that is quality time together.
Mm,
But on the other hand, what are you doing to complement that? Are you
mm,
going to cheer on the run? Are you
mm.
going to cheer him on or her on in her activities, even if you just maybe driving the person to an early morning class, or just being there for that support? That compatibility is so key. Even if it's something that you really don't like, you need to come to some sort of compromise, I would say. The other key point is communication. You can Where you can handle disagreements respectfully. No name calling, no
Mm.
belittling. um, come to some sort of compromise amicably. And as I said previously, a mutual effort, where both people invest in the relationship. As I said, where the one has got certain interests and the other has got certain interests, try to meet each other halfway. And the other point is growing together, where you help each other become better versions of yourself. It's not to say, oh, you fat, oh, you you like this, you uneducated. I know of couples where they belittle each other, they
Mm.
name call, they really make the other person feel small. And one no, I would tell everybody, especially when there's people around, do not belittle your partner, do not bring them down. Yes, if you are going for counseling in front of the counselor, you can say these things. Sometimes, you want to tell your partner certain things, but you can't express yourself because, you want to hold back. But if you're going through a counselor, that's the place, but not in front of your friends, not in front of family, not in front of their parents. Know your boundaries. And chemistry starts a relationship. Trust, commitment, and shared growth are what keeps it healthy over a long time, the longevity of the relationship.
Awesome. All right, there's a question here from Rish Chaitanya. Hi, Tammy. Love is based on trust. Attractions are momentarily, and chemistry is being good friends. My opinion, though.
Hey Rish, thank you for the comment. Rish, it's there's no cookie cutter approach. What you may find as chemistry, someone else might find, just lust. So different things make different people tick. And as I said, each person is to their own, and it's good in any relationship to have some sort of, that initial spark when you get that little pitter patter. Oh, he makes me
Mm.
feel so good, or I feel so good around him, I can express myself. That is key points to say, okay, I am comfortable with this person, I can see a future with this person. So those are the things that, as I said, chemistry is different for everybody. Attractiveness is different for everybody. Like if you meet a group of guys and you ask them, okay, what attracted you to your partner, not necessarily a wife, but what attracted you to your partner, and that one would say, oh, the intellectual capacity of this person, she makes me think out of the box. I don't like to put myself in a box, but you I don't own a box. You look at these people and say, oh, they bring out the best in me. So it's different strokes for different folks. Someone else,
Mm.
I know one guy said, I just love her butt. Where he appreciates his partner's voluptuousness.
Mm.
And I said to him, have you let her know that this is how you feel? So often you get guys that they appreciate their wife, but they don't say it out.
Mm.
So even if you in a relationship, ask, what is it that attracts you to me? What is it that you'll be very surprised, very, very surprised that one gentleman I spoke to, he said he loves his partner's scent after gym, her natural body odor. He loves that. And he encourages her not to use deodorants because he loves that natural scent of hers. If you're knowing this and this makes your partner tick, don't put on toiletries. Go to the gym, let him smell you. If you feel, oh no, that's nasty, it's gnarly, I'm not going to do that, it's gross, he's going to look at somebody else. He's going to go and smell somebody else. So catch a wake up and feed into your partner's desires, within means as well. So,
Mm.
yeah, that's what I would say. Just know what makes your partner tick. Know the telltale signs. Know the likes, the dislikes. Those are such important things to know, and feed into that, or don't feed into that. If you know, like I'm married to a Leo, and he, if I may say it crudely, but I'm his and nobody else's. Like if I had to tell him another guy spoke to me, or another guy, cat called me or something like that, I know this is going to rile him up the wrong way. I won't tell him. You don't need to tell every little detail,
Mm.
unless it's, it becomes a little bit
That's the
of a
point.
danger, or
Yeah, yeah.
maturity issue then. But other than that, you don't. I know certain things that are going to make him, make his mind go wild. I do not say. I just keep mum about it. So these are the things you need to. This is where communication is
Mm,
key in any relationship. Yep.
that's so true. How can a person break free from the cycle of repeatedly attracting or choosing emotionally unavailable or healthy partners?
Um, the biggest shift is moving from asking, why do I keep finding these people? Why do these people feel familiar or attractive to me? So, like I mentioned to you, I study Vedanta as well. And
Mhm,
you look at repeated behavior. So in Hindu culture, it's, you're coming back to fulfill your vasanas, your unfulfilled desires, right? And so you've got to ask yourself, like, why is this repeated to me? Why am I keep, some people have abusive relationship after abusive relationship after abusive relationship. They don't know any better until you stop and you think, okay, what is my lesson? I'm not learning the lesson. Until I learn the lesson and I move on from this, it's going to keep repeating itself. And trust me, there's a lot of people will say, oh, I don't know, or I didn't know this. Come on, there's so much out there. The web is riddled with everything possible to help you move, to help you educate yourself on certain things, be it emotional education, be it physical, be it, there's so much that can help you with this until you stop and you take a recollection of, why is this happening to me? Recognizing your common patterns that are going on and on and on, and notice them, and don't shy away from them. Put a pen and paper, write it down. Okay, this is what happened. Maybe look, if you've had, like, for example, four relationships, abusive relationships. So relationship one, two, three, four. Okay, what happened there? What happened there? What happened there? What happened there? You put down these things and you take account of what happened. Sometimes you are your self sabotager.
mm,
You've had one abusive relationship and you think, immediately, remember, we work on fields of energy,
mm,
and you bringing that same energy into the relationship, into the next one, into the next one. You thinking, this is the same thing that's going to happen, this is the same. You're bringing on that energy, and you giving that negative thoughts energy, and thus it is coming to that. So you also need to strengthen your boundaries. Pay attention to your actions. If your partner has to say something to you, how does it trigger you? Is it triggering you
mm,
where you want to slap them, where you want to throw things at them, where you want to just curl up in a ball and cry? Notice your patterns. Notice
mhm,
what makes you tick, what gives you encouragement. Notice these kinds of things. Your behavior is so important. Also, slow down. Slow down and see, what progress have you made? Why is this happening to me? What can I learn from this? How can I move on and change the next relationship? See the differences. Work on your self worth. When you are strong on your self worth, like in Vedanta, we call it the self. Know yourself. When you know your boundaries, like you're looking at a situation as a drone, as a third party, know your boundaries, and you will improve from that. You will move from one version to a better version of yourself. I often say I do this every Friday where I have a date with myself. I look
mhm,
at what I have done for the week, where I can change, where I can change my schedule, what worked for me, what didn't work for me. A useful test, I would say, is ask, does this person bring me peace? Is there consistency? Is there respect? Am I mostly chasing validation or uncertainty? The answer often reveals whether you're building a healthy relationship or repeated old patterns of, hurt, trauma, whatever it is. Ask yourself these questions and then move on from there to the next point.
But regardless, I was just thinking, does it come to a mindset shift in the sense that if your mind is positive, you won't end up bringing all that negative energy? I know I do bring up mindset just a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Your mindset, that's coming back to the self again. If you are intellectually strong, you will realize that this is a situation, whether you know in a situation, and everything is still, we call it the flow of life, right? Whether you are stagnant, everything around you is still moving, so nothing is waiting for you. And once you know your inner boundaries, once you know the triggers that hurt you, if you know that, okay, you don't want this pattern to be repeated, you put your pegs in the ground, your boundaries, and you don't allow anybody to go beyond that, not anybody to allow you. And you look at a situation, and it boils into choice as well. So if you
Mm,
have to tell me, Tammy, your shirt is super ugly, it doesn't gel with your skin tone, I don't know what you were thinking about, I've got two options. I've got a choice to say, oh my God, Sid thinks I'm ugly. Not the shirt, but
mm,
Sid
mm,
thinks
mm,
I'm ugly. How can I, and this is going to weigh me down. I'm
mm.
not asking questions. Oh my word, he thinks I'm ugly. He doesn't like my taste. My mind is racing. He doesn't like my taste in clothing. He doesn't like my color choices. Or the other one is, I'm, I made maybe for pink and white light colors doesn't um, have benefit on the podcast because of the lighting or whatever. Maybe the next time round I could change it, or maybe even ask Sid, what is the color scheme that you're going for? Be and think, okay, this shirt is not me. I am me. The shirt is not delivering the content. I'm delivering the content. So you need to sort of I don't like to use the word, but you need to divorce the emotion from that. Who are you?
Mm.
You need to know yourself and your self-worth.
Awesome. What role does self-love play in attracting a relationship that's built on trust, respect, and emotional security rather than fear or dependency?
I would say self-love isn't about thinking you are perfect, you're perfect 10 out of 10. It's about
Mm,
treating yourself with enough respect that
mm,
you don't need a relationship, you don't need a third person to prove your worth.
mm.
You can stand up and you can say, I am enough. You
Yeah,
don't need another person to say. And that comes with, the self-confidence, the self-worth as well, like we mentioned in the previous question. You can choose partners because you want them. They, as I said, they complement you, they don't complete you, they complement you. Not
yeah.
because you need the compliments, or excuse me, not because you need the compliments, but it's you that presence of them, or being in their presence, is more of comfort rather than fear, rejection, abandonment. You need to know where that is coming from, what with that person, how you feel. It shouldn't be like a threat, I would say. With self-love and relationships, it's more like likely to be driven by choice of respect, trust, and it's like it's not, as was not survival. Oh, I can't survive without this person. It's, I could survive without you, but I genuinely want you in my life. It comes down to that gelling. So recognize them when you are in or choosing a partner. Recognize them, choose them, and maintain standards that make a healthy relationship.
So true. Many people ignore their intuition because they're afraid of being alone. How can someone learn to trust their instincts when choosing a life partner?
So, learning to trust your instincts starts with distinguishing intuition from fear, loneliness, and it's like also, like I would say, wishful thinking as well. So,
Mm,
some of the ways where you can, I would say, trust in your instincts is pay attention to patterns and
mm,
not empty promises. Intuition often is your mind noticing consistent behavior before you can consciously put it into words. So notice those type of patterns, notice how you feel over time. Healthy relationship tend to create like almost like a safety, like a safety cocoon, safety bubble. you know
yeah.
uh, Clarity comes in and stability as well. Unhealthy ones often create recurring confusion, recurring
Mm,
questioning. You shouldn't be keep questioning yourself, and
mm,
have this constant anxiety. Why? What if? Why did this go wrong? Have I said the incorrect thing? Have I done the incorrect thing? Have I wore something inappropriate? That constant questioning,
mm,
that is a trigger on its own. So when your intuition, especially when it comes to major decisions, if your intuition says you got this, go for it, you feel comfortable, that's where your intuition kicks in. It's that initial feeling, that initial spark that you have that says, sometimes you may want to uh, go to the shops or go out shopping or something, and you're dressed up, you got your bag, you're ready to get, and that intuition says, "Ah, I really shouldn't. I really shouldn't be spending money. I really shouldn't go out. It's raining,
mm.
it's cold. Go with that gut. There's something that is telling you not to do it. There's something that is telling you to do it. And when your intuition
Oh, sorry for some second there. I couldn't hear you there, but now it's okay. I think I should be able to hear you now. Oh, oh, sure, but I can't hear you again. Do you mind refreshing on your side quickly? Sorry about that. Hmm, strange. Uh,
Can you hear me? Oh, now it's giving me
Yeah,
of me.
yeah. I can hear you now. Yeah, sorry. Where were you now?
So I was saying, like the reflect on
Hmm.
past experiences, see what, especially when it comes to decision making, see what makes you feel good, and ask yourself, can I imagine a future with this person? Do I feel mostly peace, or am I feeling constantly anxious with the person? Ask ask these questions to yourself, if you want to make a long-term commitment. And also trust your instincts. Just trusting your instinct doesn't mean that assuming fear is correct. It means respecting your observations enough to explore them honestly instead of dismissing them, or being afraid of losing a relationship or this relationship. It's trusting your instincts and ask questions. Ask questions. There's so much out there that will tell you certain things, especially if it's if you have that initial feeling that something's amiss in this relationship. It's too good to be true. It is like I mentioned last week, where the guy was an hour away from Durban, and surely you can get into your car and come and see the person. But after 4 months, it didn't work out. And so she always had that inner instinct that said something's amiss, and she never went with it. And then after speaking to me, sometimes you do need that third person. I'm not saying a third person as in a somebody interfering in the relationship, but somebody that you can honestly talk to, that would give you honest advice to say, these are red flags, check it out. So she called me, and I asked a few questions. And there's certain tests that you can even do. If you Google it, you can look at certain questions. And if you're saying yes to certain things, if you're saying more no's to certain things, those are red flags to say, hey, why is it only stipulated time that he's calling me? Why can't I call him in the day? Why 4 months he hasn't come in to see me? That kind of thing. So these are the times, if something is amiss, or something is feeling a bit off, that's a red flag. That's your intuition talking to you. So go with that gut feel, do some investigation, and before you can make any major decisions.
I agree with you on that. What daily habits or practices can couples adopt to keep love growing long after the
Sorry, Sid,
initial
I can't
excitement?
hear you.
Oh, sorry, I was asking what daily habits or practices can couples adopt to keep love growing after the initial excitement and chemistry begin to fade? Oh, can you hear me? Oh, okay, let me just see quickly. Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, better.
Awesome. All right. I was asking what daily habits or practices can couples adopt to keep love growing long after the initial excitement and chemistry begin to fade?
Okay, so when chemistry like settles down, love goes through small, consistent actions rather than intense feelings. So a few simple habits I would say that can make a big difference is daily check-ins. Spend a few minutes genuinely asking, um, how is the person doing? Not how was your day? Fine.
Hmm.
you know know what the person, you're going to get that, you're going to get those one word answers,
Hmm.
but try not to ask a closed end question like that. So
Yeah.
what particular, I used to do this with my kids in school, because if I said how was your day, fine, you rather change it to say what subject was stood out for you the most today, which teacher made the biggest impact for you today, what major event happened during lunchtime that you can talk about. And this spurs the continued conversation, and it encourages more details from the opposite partner. So you can use the same thing in your relationships. Sometimes you would get, oh, your partner doesn't want to talk about it.
Hmm.
So you'll say, change the subject, and focus on something else. Maybe they had a tiring day at work,
Hmm.
or whatever it is. Understand what makes them tick, what triggers them, and these kind of things address issues early on in the relationship. So stay curious as well. Keep changing, keep learning, continue learning about each other, thoughts, experience. Like if you're talking about the news currently, and ask them, how does this make you feel? Or maybe ask an odd question about,
Hmm.
um, you know, um, it's like if we were on the Titanic or something, and you know, how would what impact would you want to leave? What legacy would you want to leave? Ask something out of the norm. If they're not comfortable about speaking about their work or their profession or something like that, because yes, it gets tiring. Speak about something out of the norm, or maybe whatever headlines is going on, and show if you're the type of person that likes affection. Show the hugs, the kind words, the touching, the small gestures. Like I mentioned in our first episode, I said one of the things that I strongly recommend is the 5 love language test, to know what makes the other person tick, and focus on those things. Focus on, like, I'm in a hotel room, but when I went out, and there was some beautiful fruit on the they've got these little street vendors, and I bought my husband like one of each fruit, but I just bought 4 different fruit to try it out in a new country to see how different it is. And that, because his love language is simple acts of kindness or small gestures. And with me doing that, a simple thing like that made him think, ah, she thought about me. She didn't have to buy this for me, but she thought about me. And we ended up watching something on TV, and we both shared each fruit. So, and we started commenting on the fruits back in South Africa, back in Dubai, and then here, that kind of thing. So, look at something that is intellectually stimulating, not something that's going to be boring or dull, or even if it's, just to get their idea, their perspective on things. And look at, try to reassess or recon the day as well with them. Say, did my partner feel loved today? Did I make an effort to understand them today? So long lasting love is usually less about keeping the initial spark alive. It's more about continually nurturing, I would say, the friendship, the trust, the respect, the emotional closeness. And those are the things that stem or build a foundation to a healthy relationship.
That's really fascinating. Lastly, if someone is listening today and realizes this, they're in a relationship driven more by attachment than genuine love, what is the first courageous step they should take toward creating a healthier future?
The first courageous step, I would say, is radical honesty with yourself. Ask, if I weren't afraid of losing this person, would I still choose this relationship today? And note how you feel. If there's doubt, if you attach to the person, there's often, oh, I can't lose them. Remember, I said last week as well, people become fixated on the labeling, on the status. Oh, my husband's got a Ferrari, my husband's got a Bentley, whatever. You become fixated on the external things, the name and the fame. you know Also, if your husband's a narcissist or your wife is a narcissist, holding on to the hope of saying, oh, maybe one day they'll change. Holding on to false hope is not reality. Get a reality check. A lot of people are living in unhappy marriages that say, ah, for the children, what if, I don't want to hurt my children, like the one lady that I was counseling back in South Africa, that I counseled just last month. She is so unhappy. She is extremely beautiful, but she's got these dark bags under her eyes. And I asked her, I said, what is going on with you? And she said she doesn't sleep because her daughter's writing exams. She doesn't want to disrupt the household, and but she's leading such an unhealthy life. She goes to bed crying every night. She sleeps probably an hour, and then she's awake the rest of the night. So these are the things that are unhealthy signs that you are aware of, but you're trying to sweep under the carpet because you don't want to injure or hurt somebody else. So think about these things. Love often asks different questions. Is this relationship helping both of us to thrive? Is there mutual respect, trust, and care? Can we be ourselves here? Can you be truthful, honestly truthful, to say your deepest darkest feelings, uh, even if it comes to hurting the other person, you know uh, can you still be honest and let them know how you feel, and ask, are we building something healthy together? If not, if there's a doubt in any one of those questions, that's a trigger. That is a trigger. Those are triggers. Sometimes, um, as I mentioned in the previous episode as well, people stay in unhealthy relationships. One person said, I just enjoy the sex, nothing else. So, these are the things. Why are you in there? If you're just in there for the intimacy, then don't bring children into the relationship.
Mm.
So, should something spark down the line, this is like a temporary thing. I would honestly say, if you're going to look at yourself in 20 years from now, and you say, okay, I'm now in my 20s, I'm going to be in my late 40s. If there's children involved, and if I do find somebody else, and nobody can predict what your future is, nobody. So if you're going to find somebody else and you're going to say, oh, now I've got children, am I the type of person to abandon somebody, to abandon children? Think twice about it. Think twice about it. And if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't sit comfortably with you, what kind of relationship is truly worth keeping to you? Understand these things. Ask questions. There's one thing, ask questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Tammy.
You're most welcome. Love and light to all the listeners and the viewers, and catch you all next week.